Last week, my friends and I headed down to Toronto to compete in my second regional event where, with Heroes, I actually found myself one win away from getting my invite. I didn't intend to do that well, I didn't think I'd win the matches I did, but man did it motivate me. It was an amazing trip with amazing people, and I can't tell you how happy I am that 3 months ago, we did decide to start this journey together. Hey guys, welcome back. This week we have some big choices to make. I actually have another regionals in 2 weeks, and I'm a little unsure if I want to go with Heroes or Cybertraps. Heroes got us incredibly close to our invite, however, I do have a lot of faith in Cyber Dragons, especially in this format, and their ability to main deck evenly matched. I think the play here is to edit both decks and then do just a massive amount of playtesting. I'm starting with Heroes and throwing 2 Twin Twisters into the main deck. One thing Heroes do have troubles with is backrow, and until we get Lightning Storm, this is the next best option with Altergeist and Guru just kind of running around the format. As for what we're taking out, I'm currently considering 1 Imperm and 1 Ash. They're both great cards, but I do want to keep my engine pieces, and they're both a little lackluster against Spiral. As for Cyber Dragon, I'm doubling down on the stun aspect. I do want this to be more of a grindy deck, and I also really want it to be something that reminds me, again, of like classic 2006, very nostalgic Yu-Gi-Oh! With that in mind, I will be cutting the semi-bricky Galaxy package, machine duplications, and some Cyber Dragons. This provides us with room for some more consistent stun-oriented cards like that of Inspector Border and Waking the Dragon. Yacine told me about the trap, and it just seems like it will help us immensely against cards like that of Lightning Storm in the new format. It'll also simultaneously allow us to utilize some pretty OP extra deck cards that just take games on their own. Now, I know this isn't everybody's favorite variant of the deck, and I think that's totally okay. I do like the traditional Cyber Dragon build, but I also really like it when both players have a myriad of turns. I like it when there are more than 10 turns in a game. I do like it when they're a bit more grindy, and this deck does provide us with that opportunity, rather than someone building a board and the other person losing, or someone building a board and the other person OTKing. I do appreciate those aspects of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but I did play this game predominantly in a time where that wasn't how the game was played, and I definitely still hold on to a love for the game that is a bit slower and that does give both players kind of an opportunity to play. With that said, I am now running a little bit late on time. My partner's going to be home in a minute, so we're going to go make some Spanakopita's, and we'll talk Yu-Gi-Oh! In a little bit. Hey guys, happy Saturday. I am currently watching the PPG tour with Cimoooo and MBT, which A, is incredibly entertaining. I love these guys. But B, I am blown away by how much Spiral is there and the boards this deck can make. Apparently, it was a very big deck like 2 years ago. I personally missed that. But it's quite intimidating. I think, and this is very unfortunate, that the Droll and Lockbirds, the Super Polys, the Sphere Modes, the Evenly Matched, and now the Lightning Storms that everybody's going to be siding and maining against Spirals will actually be pretty devastating against Heroes. We also do have some pretty fragile boards. And so with that in mind, I think for today's locals, I am going to take Cyber Dragons. So we'll see how the format continues, but this is really interesting. It's not what I expected, but I think that for me at least, it's pretty fresh. With that said, let's get packed up and head out.
Hortons is unusually quiet.
Yeah. Like the Predaplant link support.
This both players can't special summon. Ruler is only able to pull the Demon Trend.
Yeah? I had the lights on, I had everybody waving at you.
What can I do for you?
What?
There were 12 of us playing, and game 1 was against Monarchs. Holden went first and made a larger board as he knew I was playing Cyber Dragons and he didn't want to get OTK'd. I drew a fairly diverse hand, used Pot of Duality into Cyber Emergency, and searched Core, which I summoned. From there, I searched Overflow, set 5, and passed feeling quite safe. He attempted to use Return of the Monarchs, but Unending Nightmare was able to ensure he didn't get any pluses. From there, he attempted to swing. I used Overflow and chained Unending to pop it. This allowed me to pop his monster by banishing Core, and then search a Cyber Speller Trap from my deck because Overflow was destroyed in the chain. The two cards essentially create a little bit of a loop where you always have a Cyber Dragon and a Disruption Trap, and every turn, provided you're using them, you are going at least +1, so it's fantastic in those grindy games. He opened game 2 and made some much larger threats. I drew a semi-awkward hand and we had an incredibly long game. In the end, I needed to attack once more with my Cyber Dragon Link. However, he used Monarch Stormforth and I was so lucky, I had the Solemn Judgment set, so I was able to take the match from there. Again, guys, I love these slower matches. I love it when both players have an opportunity to play, and this was definitely a nostalgic one, Monarchs versus Cyber Dragons. It was a little bit awkward because, of course, he didn't use the extra deck, so I couldn't use my Cyber Dragons to make Mega Fleets, but in the end, we did get the W, and we had a great time doing it.
Games of Nova, Cubit Board.
Not a back.
Dude, Wing Karibo. Nice.
We won our following match against a stun deck which also incorporated a mini Cyber Dragon engine and moved on to round 3 where we played Gareth and pure Cyber Dragons. He made me go first, I set 4 and passed. Now this match, like all of our others, was quite grindy, but it essentially consisted of summoning monsters, making Mega Fleets, destroying Mega Fleets, then repeating the process. These are consistently some of my favorite games, but in the end, you pure Cyber Dragon players will be quite happy to know that he did win the match with a 2-1 victory. At this point, we have 2 wins and a loss, so if we want to top 4, we do have to win the next match, and unfortunately, it is against Ganon. Ganon was playing Altergeist and he went first. He summoned a monster, then proceeded to set 5 and pass. I opened with 2 evenly matched, which is essentially the dream, so I go to the end of battle phase and he has not 1 but 2 Solemn Judgments. From there, I summon Core, use its mandatory effect, which he does choose to negate and destroy. I then make a very risky move and set a single card, that being Waking the Dragon, and I did this because I really did want him to pop it with Yacine. From there, I passed, and on the next turn, he did exactly what we hoped for, so I was able to bring out a Raid Raptor XYZ, which essentially isn't affected by any cards at all. He had a single out in his extra deck, however, he actually banished it turn 1 with the Extravagance, so we took game 1. He went first yet again and set up a daunting board consisting of an Altergeist and 4 backrow. I drew Summon Border and ran over his monster. From there, I set my own 4 and passed. Ganon then drew and decided to pass back, but on his end phase, I used Trap Trick to banish a Heavy Storm Duster, set a Heavy Storm Duster, and take out 2 of his back row. I then followed up with an MST, which hit his Imperm, and that was essentially game, as he did need that to eventually out the border. The top 4 consisted of Ganon, Gareth, Brady, and myself. We began, and yet again, I was paired up against Ganon, which meant he was ready for a comeback. He opened with Extravagance, set 3, and passed back. I summoned Core, he ashed, so I also just set a lot of back row and swung with the big boy damage of 400. It was a longer game, we essentially kept a similar amount of advantage, but I was able to win the game with our single copy of the original Alti Cyber Dragon. He makes me go first game 2, I summon a border and set a couple of traps. On his turn, he uses evenly, I banish my back row, and 6 or so turns later, border does win me the match as he wasn't able to draw an appropriate out. At this point in the tournament, I am extremely happy. I know that Ganon is a significantly more skilled player, so the fact that we were able to go 4-0 against him in the tournament essentially means that the Cyber Trap deck does have a great matchup against the other control decks, and I was just very happy with my choice in playing this deck today. The top 2 ended up being myself and Gareth, and he forced me to go first. I summoned a core and was hit with an Imperm. I set a couple of back row, and on the following turn, he used extender after extender after extender until he was able to remove the entirety of my board, and he swung for game. He confidently also won the following game with the Cyber Dragon Link, Pankratops, and a Chimera attack. So we did end up with second place, which I was actually extremely happy about. This was only our second week playing this deck, and I do feel like I will see significantly more Altergeist at regionals than I will Cyber Dragon. So as far as the matchups go, I was very happy with that as well. With that said, the night, it was still far from over.
This hand looks good. Nope.
We decided to make it a playtesting night, and Mario put together Extravagant Spiral and a Lunalite Spiral deck, as they are expected to be a big part of the meta going forward. So we knew what we were signing up for with another 5 hours of Yu-Gi-Oh! And with that in mind, we did decide to order some sustenance in the form of a massive, and I do mean massive, amount of pizza. These playtesting nights, they're always my favorite. They're competitive, but they're friendly. They're informative, but they're fun. And they really do remind me of sleepovers I had as a teenager. And with the smaller group, you really do get to know your friends. You get to know the people you care about. I love the gameplay, but as you guys know, more so, I love this community and nights like this. I'm also maining 3 Solemn Judgments, so every time you finally did. Yacine and I downloaded YGO Pro, where I watched him play and win 11 games in a row. Throughout the process, he continued to teach me the best ways of prioritizing my cards, why we play certain choices, and it was an incredibly valuable watch-along. From there, he watched me play my first game, which I did admittedly lose, but following that, he coached me through the following 3, which I did end up winning. So here he did teach me how I can chain block and use a myriad of other fun tricks, including a really simple OTK I hadn't realized earlier. So that was an incredibly productive 3 hours, and I owe a massive thank you to Yacine for taking the time, for just walking me through things, and really dedicating just a large portion of your day to helping me learn. I really appreciate it. I would not be half the player I am today if it wasn't for you, and I really look forward to playing again in the future. With that said, tomorrow we do have another playtesting session with another professional player, and this week it is crazy in the best way. So, yesterday we tested Cyber Dragons with Yacine. Today we are testing Heroes with Gabriel Vargas. And if that name sounds familiar to you, it's because it probably should. He is actually a national champion. He went on to play Worlds, and he is definitely what you would define as a professional player. Now, how I found myself in an opportunity where I was lucky enough to play with him, I have absolutely no idea, but we did end up talking at the last Toronto Regionals. He offered to help me playtest for this upcoming Montreal Regionals, and so here we are today. I am really really excited about this opportunity. I am incredibly grateful for this opportunity. And today, I think we are going to learn significantly more than a thing or two. So let's hop into it and have some fun with Gabriel. The session started with Gabriel helping me to edit the hero deck, then he opted to play Salamangreat to help me learn the matchup. He also used Nibiru not once, not twice, but 3 times. He then showed me a couple really neat salad plays and ended up beating heroes 7-0. From there, I switched to Cyber Traps, he switched to Extravagant Spirals. I got incredibly lucky and actually took the match 2-1. Admittedly, I do think that he opened an almost unplayable hand game 3, but we did decide that Cyber Dragons were the right call for regionals. Now, it was definitely a very informative chat, but we did spend the following 3 hours of our 6-hour chat essentially just talking about vlogging, photography, cinematography, art, and I didn't expect the conversation to go in this direction, but I feel like we actually really got to know each other, and we are now, without a doubt, what I would call boys.
Videos, I'm just gonna get
When we got into the shop, Mario gave Gannon and I these official Mario's Gaming World shirts, which I absolutely love. I am a big fan of collecting sentimental things, and this is definitely something that I'm going to look back on 10 years down the line and, you know, have as something to really remember these first few months by. With that said, after that we did dig out some extra Lunalite cards from Mario's bulk, and Gannon and I started editing both the extra and side deck. After that, he did point out some redundancies, and he really helped me fix it up to the point where I was extremely happy with all 3. From there, Brandon and I, well, we simply started playtesting.
Sound like a little
This is
From a hand too, okay.
Yeah.
Especially the sleeper, by banishing 3 spirals from my graveyard.
Okay, guys.
Hey guys, it was quite late. We have regionals tomorrow, but I did quickly want to check in and just note that that was a fantastic playtesting session. I did decide that the final 2 cards of my side deck are going to be There Can Only Be One. I think that they're fantastic. We can play around them very easily. And I'm going to throw the current deck list up on the screen here for you. This is actually the first regionals where I am very confident in every card in the main side and extra deck. And I am really, really looking forward to, I was going to say tomorrow, but I suppose actually today, because it is now 12:30. I do need to be up at 4 in the morning because it is about a 4-hour drive to the venue. So we are not going to get a lot of sleep tonight, but we are going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. So with that said, I will see you guys very soon on the journey.
I don't know, this guy named Tim made it. And a farmer's wrap. Whoa.
The car consisted of Mario, Gannon, Ryan, Brandon, myself, and of course, quite a lot of Tim Hortons. It was a long drive up, but to be honest, it really didn't feel like it. The company, the conversation, it was all great, and despite nobody getting more than 3 hours of sleep, we were pretty excited to go and play some games.
Why does it not focus? Whatever.
You don't know how to camera right.
What is a camera? How do I camera? This is gonna be unusable. I'm gonna be cool, I'm gonna tilt it like this, so now it's definitely unusable.
I'm still thinking that we should start a YouTube channel, and it's the in-between scenes between both of our videos.
Gosling jacket.
I'm what jacket?
Your Ryan Gosling jacket, because I didn't know that was what it was.
Yeah.
Apparently Mario doesn't.
I don't laugh.
The Regionals was hosted in a hotel and there were 180 pilots in attendance. Now, I hadn't previously been to Montreal, but I almost immediately ran into Yacine, Gabriel, Ryan Yu, and a lot of friends from Toronto, so the atmosphere, it was immediately pretty wonderful. Our first match was against Border Stun, and we took the round thanks to a couple early evenlies. The second match was against Heroes, and we continued our success with yet another win. From there, I did tie my third round against Cyber Dragon, won my fourth, and then beat Zombies in the fifth round. So we were off to an amazing start. We were XO1. From there, I found myself at table 3, this time sitting beside Sam from Team Samurai X, who actually, as always, gave me some great advice regarding YouTube. My opponent sat down, and all I could think was, oh no, I am in over my head. So, round 6, I was playing against a guy named Marcus. I believe he's a professional player, and we hadn't had an opportunity to meet previously before this, but I knew he was good. Marcus was playing Salamangreat, and as per usual, before the match started, I noted that I am pretty new to the game, and I would have to read a lot of the cards. Now, unlike the last regionals and Salad player, he said, of course, and then from there, he actually literally took the time to explain every card in full for me as we played. He didn't skip any pieces, he didn't leave anything out, and he didn't expect me to memorize his 40 card deck, so he continuously re-explained cards. I felt like I was fully aware of the game state throughout the entirety of the match, and he also, very deservedly, won the match with a hard 2-0. So I'd like to say a big shout out to Marcus for not only being a good player, but a great opponent, for keeping me up to date throughout the entirety of the match, for keeping things friendly. And I really wanted to put emphasis on this match in this video, because if you watched the last video, you know that at the previous regionals, I actually played against a Salad player who played an all-French deck. He didn't have translations, and he actually refused to tell me what effects were after the first game. So Marcus, thank you for being the exact opposite experience with the Salamangreat deck. I had a great time, and I really do hope we get to play again in the future. With that said, back to the tournament.
Oh yes, I have some judgment in here.
Yeah, if you went first.
My 7th round was against one of my newer friends, Lutch Greco, who I had actually met at the previous regionals. We had some really fun games, but he is definitely a far better player and deservedly took the match. With that said, we did spend the majority of the match just kind of joking and having fun. Now, the last match of the day was actually against a Danger Grand Maju player, and in short, he won the dice roll and the match. He was an awesome guy, though. He noted that it was actually his first time getting his invite, and I was genuinely really happy for him. So, like the last regionals, we were one win away from getting our invite, but there were so many instances during the day while I was sitting at those top tables where I was looking around and I just thought, I have so much to learn. These people are so efficient at this game, and if anything, it really motivates me. I really look forward to learning the game on the level that they know it, and it was really exciting. After that match, Yacine and I talked about putting together Lunalights. Sam got me a very important card, which I needed for the future, and I had a fun match with a fellow Cyber Trap player. From there, Gabe and I filmed a little comedy skit for his channel, which you can find in both the comments and the description. The guys and I, we rented a hotel room, we played some pretty fun yet unconventional games.
What was that? I told you, Chair FTK. We got a Chair FTK deck.
This is not okay.
Oh my god.
At the end of the day, I found myself enthusiastic and determined. I was 3 months into the game, and despite still not knowing most of the cards, I was 1 win away from getting my invite at 2 different events. I think some people may get down about this, but to me, it's just motivating. I think that with the right mindset, events like these, they push us to do better, to be better, to accomplish more. We've learned the new mechanics, we've won a locals in the big challenges. I'm coming for them next. That invite is just around the corner. We are going to practice, we are going to iterate, and we are going to make it happen. I've got amazing people by my side, incredible teammates, and more support than a man can dream of. I love this game. I love those around me. I love you guys. And this journey, it is just getting started. So I was going to end the video there. It was this big climactic moment. It was motivational. It was about getting better at the game, and something that I think is very important in just general self-improvement. But I've gotten a couple messages from a friend, from a member of this community. And I think that while everything I said at the end there is important, I think what I'm about to say is significantly more important. And our friend, Alex, a lot of you on YouTube, you probably know him as Twiz. He was recently in a really bad car accident, and he sent me pictures, and it was scary. We're pretty lucky that he's doing okay. He is doing okay. He's sore, but that was pretty dramatic, pretty traumatic. And with that comes some really big bills. He does live in the US. He does have to pay for the ambulance, the hospital, the ultrasound, the new car. And I myself have been hit with a $20,000 bill in the past, and I know how bloody scary that can be. So this is a reminder about community. This is a reminder about helping people when you can. I always talk about how much I love this community, and community is there for one another, not just in the best of times, but in the worst of times, when you need help, when you need someone to help pick you up. And Alex is in that position right now. So Alex has started a GoFundMe, and I am personally going to be donating $100 in the grand scheme. It is not much at all with what he has to deal with. But I think if everybody donates just a little bit, whether it be $1, $5, whatever it may be, whatever you can, accumulatively together as a community, we can help him out. We can do something very important for, the cost of a pack of cards. We can really help someone accumulatively. And I wanted to end this video with this. I want to remind everyone again that I'm a big fan of this game, not because of the mechanics. I like the mechanics. I like the actual game a lot, but predominantly because of the people who are involved, because of the friends, because of the community. And I think it's important to take care of that community. I think Alex has been providing a lot for the community for a really long time, and if you've ever been a big fan of Alex or any of his videos, consider helping him out in this time of need. And again, just take care of the people you love, make sure that they're all right, be there for them. And this YouTube community, we know each other, right? We know you guys in the comments. You guys in the comments know us. We are friends. We are community. And I know I'm throwing that word community around a lot, but I think that it's a very important word. And I think that online it kind of means family, right? It does. We talk about our YouTube family, we talk about our card shop families. Be there for family, right? So that's why I'm making this very long clip at the end of the video, because family is important, Alex is important, and yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will see you guys, I think, next week. I'm excited for what's to come with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm excited to see what comes of the community as a whole. So thank you guys, and I will see you soon.